Oh man. All right. So this is gonna be a quick live. Oh man. Oh god. Quick live. Um, I was actually gonna skip this week, but I figured I might as well do one. Just a quick one on the phone. I don't even know if I'm gonna keep this. To be honest, completely open topics. I don't have anything in particular to talk about on this one. A big trucker. So this is about you guys. Whatever you guys want to bring up, talk about. I'm definitely gonna highlight. I want you to promote your site, promote your product, whatever. Big trucker says, "Hi Bruce, how you doing, man? How you doing these days? You have a plan to go back to the Philippines, or is that still out of the picture?" Jay Barnes, how you doing, man? Open topics, whatever you guys want to talk about, completely open. I'm just over here on Twitter messing around, not doing anything particular. Wait for Yuri to get back. We're gonna go shopping for the week and stuff. So that's pretty much my day right there. Take care of some stuff at home. What you guys up to? Big Trucker says just started using OBS, trying to figure out how to host live call-ins and show super chats big across the screen. OBS is awesome. Like that's what I use on both my channels, and there's other things you can use, but I found that one to be the easiest one to use and most compatible. So I guess you can actually go straight from YouTube. I don't like this format here. It's kind of limited to me. So I'm on my phone. They might have some more stuff that you can do from your actual PC. But OBS, yeah, that's the one I use regularly. You can add super chats and everything in there. Just check out some YouTube videos on all the stuff. You know who's really good at it is the gamers. Like if you ever watch gamers, they really have it down to a science. I'll watch them just to like see what kind of stuff that they got going on. Jay Barnes says my wife is finally monetizing, but now we're trying to figure out different things to do. Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's incredible. The soon as soon as we started, like, well, we actually have been working on monetizing from the very beginning. But when it started to work, it was a life changer. You know, once we had different incomes coming in, it has been helping us out. It's been a life changer for us. So, and I can talk to you any subject you want to talk about, like with that, like YouTube. I can break that one down. Courses, publishing. There's so many things you can do that to be honest with you, a lot of times don't even require you to be really good at whatever you're putting out. Because you got affiliate programs where you're putting other people's stuff out and then you make money off of their product. Mark Anthony says, "Wow, long time. What's up, brother? How you doing, Mark Anthony? Man, yeah, long time no talk to. We haven't really chopped it up in a while." Yeah, man. I my favorite subject is talking about business, but that's something that's kind of sensitive, and people don't really want to. As soon as you start talking about money, people get a little weird, a little too emotional. And that's the thing. Like I think that we put too much emotional. We, meaning Americans, get too emotional about it, and it shouldn't be like a super emotional thing. It should be about numbers and data and stuff like that. You know. That's something that me and Yuri had to learn the hard way, like doing all these different things that have failed. And I want to do a video about how I failed, like how I lost $100,000. That would be a good video. So yeah, I gained and then lost a good portion of that money. You sound muffled. Really? That's odd. It's probably coming on this phone right here. Let me see if I can turn it up a little bit. I don't know if that'll work. That is a problem. Sound is really a problem. Is that better? I don't know. I just turned it up. I think that only turns up my ringer. Normally I'm doing it from this computer here with a mic, so that's why my sound is usually really good. I hear you. Not clear, but I hear you. Okay. Sounds muffled. Maybe I should switch to my to the other to the computer. Thinking about it. Yeah, like what Yuri and I had really been wanting to talk about is business and money and stuff like that because that's where we spend most of our time. But this audience isn't really this isn't the audience for that. Because we'll start talking about like how we're making X amount of dollars, and then some people jump on and get real mad and jealous, which is weird. I would be like, hey, how did you do it? You know, and then some people don't want to talk about that like at all, and then they either unsubscribe or they just don't watch those videos. So this really isn't the it really isn't the group for that. Or I'll be in the middle of telling people how they can make money, and then they'll ask me about visa stuff. Yeah, let me see if I can. Maybe I'll just switch my computer instead of doing it like this, since the sound is bad. That's not good. Damn, I really didn't want to do a full blown session today. I don't have topics. I don't have topics today. So that's why I'm like open topics. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Let me see. Let me see about starting this thing up on my computer laptop instead. Let me see what I can do here. Switching over for a little bit. I mean, if I had some topic, hold up, let me see. How to make money in 2020. Yeah, something like that would be something I would like to talk about. Or how to make money in 2021. So we set up a different site for that. To go deeper into that kind of stuff. How you been doing, Mark Anthony? How's it going? How's life been treating you? What are some options to make money in 2020 and 2021? Yeah, great topic. Great topic. For 2021, it's going to be real estate, man. I think that the real estate market's going to, in the U.S. here, is going to go into a big slump. Moved from NYC to New Jersey. Man, how is that? Well, I guess that's not much of a transition for you, right? Because New York and New Jersey is pretty similar, I would imagine. Yeah, we're still here in Colorado. Um, Jay Barnes says, man, oil stocks are doing great. Still low enough to buy, but gaining daily. I'm too afraid to mess around with oil stocks. It's so volatile, but I guess if you get in while all this infighting has been going on between Saudi Arabia and Russia and the U.S., maybe this is a good time to actually buy up some of that stock. But I'm afraid it'll collapse, like really, and not recover. Just I don't know what's going on with the oil market right now. Mark Anthony says, moving to San Francisco in 2021. So, what's your motivation to going to San Francisco? Just curious, Mark. San Francisco is so expensive to live there. Jay Barnes, what are some good oil stocks to buy? We're curious. Me and Mark Anthony are curious. All right, right now I'm checking up my comments to see if there's any single and free. Let me see, what kind of things can I talk about? looking for adventure or whatever comes your way. All right, all right. Here's some stuff I could talk about. I guess I could switch over just to get some good sound going. But what kind of comments? Patrice says, "Mark, don't do it. I'm getting out of here." Oh, Patrice, you're getting out of San Fran, earning 100K and just bored on the East Coast. LOL. If you could travel, man, you might want to try another country as soon as this stuff opens up. San Fran, I'm from Sacramento, California, near the Bay Area, and I can just tell you, it's so expensive and crowded there, man. It might even be more expensive than New York. Like I don't know for sure, but 100K doesn't get you very far in San Fran. Uh, and Patrice, if you live there, he can. I'm sure somebody from San Fran can confirm this. It's expensive. There's a lot of homeless in downtown San Francisco. It's crazy. It's just overcrowded, man. I don't know what to say. California has gotten too there's too many people there. It's really its own country. Like we treat it like a state, but California really is like its own country. Just my personal opinion. Jay Barnes says, "LOL. I work for Shell. Don't buy oil gas companies. Buy trade Occidental Petroleum, OXY, or Oil State, Oil States International." Is there a reason why you can tell us that, Jay Barnes, or is that like insider information? Don't get yourself in trouble. It's my house acre says rural California is better. Yeah, I have to agree with that. California is no longer good. So okay, you got three people from California who's telling you, Mark. There's some parts of California. California is beautiful. Okay, let me just tell you, California is gorgeous. The women are most beautiful women on planet Earth are in California. I'm just going to put it to you that way. It's a mixture of everybody. Um, Lots of industry. IT is huge there, especially in Silicon Valley, Palo Alto area, Menlo Park, all that. I mean, it's the hub. You could arguably say that's the hub of the world for IT. You know, you got Cisco, you got Google, you got. I'm sure I'm missing several other companies off the top. PayPal, I think, is there. Several large international multi-billion-dollar companies are there. You can make pretty good money there, I would say. But the cost of living, okay, now here's the negative parts. The cost of living is ridiculous. It's too crowded. They don't have, they're dealing with country issues, but they're treated like a state. They got huge immigration issues that they have to deal with, just like a country does. Like they deal with country level immigration problems. Um, and I'm not taking one side or the other with the whole immigration and how to figure it out or anything. I'm just telling you they have country level immigration issues there. They got country level. They make the income in California is more than most countries on planet Earth. I believe they're the fourth or fifth largest economy in the world. Um, there's only a few countries that make more: China, Japan, Germany. That's it. I think believe that's it. Maybe one other country. It's like a country. It's just not treated like a country. They don't have the. They're trying to figure out how to deal with systemic issues on multiple different levels, and it's just I don't know how they're going to get from here to there. But they keep raising the taxes. They do things like they'll raise the taxes to try to fix things, and somehow money, even though they have like the most billionaires on earth, with the exception of maybe China and Hong Kong and New York, California has the most billionaires on earth, and somehow they're always broke. Somehow they're always broke. Like it's mismanagement of money or something. I don't know, but it's I don't. I would not recommend moving to California. Not, and it hurts my heart to say that because I'm from California. I love California. I love I love like the attitude and some of the stuff that's there. I love the restaurants are the best. It's multicultural. There's lots of Filipinos there. There's lots of Asians. There's lots of black folks there. There's lots of Hispanic people there, and it's like you have to learn to live together. But they have huge issues there that I don't believe are being solved. Patrice says the housing market is painfully expensive. Yes, and that's one thing I didn't even bring up. The housing is very, very, very expensive. I mean, let me just try to give you an idea. Like rent is what 2,000 a month or something. Depending on where you go, it's even higher than that. Mark says I need to do more research. I just chose California because I wanted a summer weather daily. Yeah, and that's why a lot of people. I suspect that's why a lot of people go there in Florida. Is because the weather, and that's why I think there's so many homeless people there. Is because they also go there for the weather. It's year round. It's good. Whereas in a place like Colorado, where I live, it's really hard to be here in the winter time. It's really hard because the weather is so sporadic. Mark says I heard there were more single Asian women in California scared of dating websites. I don't know. I like dating websites. I mean, I met Yuri on a dating website. They're not all bad. You just gotta take your time. There's definitely a lot of scammers. There's a lot of very smart romance scammers there. You gotta do what you gotta do there. It just takes time and effort and energy to put yourself out there on there. But I don't mind you. I understand why you'd be afraid of going on the dating site circuit because there's a lot of you got to weed through a lot of the garbage that's on there as far as fake people and fake profiles and stuff like that. Serge, how you doing, man? Long time no see. Way too many scammers online. Yeah, it's true. There are a lot to sort through. But yeah, like the women in Cali, like if that's where you're going, and that's one of the meccas, I would say, for especially if you like a mixture, if you like variety, it's hard to beat California. Uh, Patrice says, "Yup, but the majority like white or Asian men. Can't argue with that." Patrice says, "You can get lucky." Nah, there. I would say if you're looking in Sacramento, I can't speak for the rest of California, but Sacramento is pretty mixed. It's pretty mixed, and I rarely see people. You can find what you want there as a black man. Is what I'm trying to say. You can definitely find what you want, regardless of other people's preferences. You can find what you want, and people. It was a culture shock to move for me to move out of Sacramento, California, Northern California area, because I was used to a mixture of people everywhere. That's what you see in Sacramento. When I went to, I mean, I'm in like almost every state, but when I went to my first duty station, I went to, well, Texas is where I trained, and that wasn't too bad. But when I went to Montana, I didn't see any Asian people. I didn't see not many Hispanic people. I didn't see many black people. No, it's like 80% white there. So it was a culture shock for me. I didn't know that the rest of America was like that. I thought it was mixed everywhere. But man, it started me thinking about, wow, what are the demographics of this country? And from state to state, it's different. But Sacramento, California, like that's the one of the things I miss about it. It's so diverse. Patrice says in SAC you have a lot you have a lot from military bases, Travis Air Force Base. Yeah, true. Um, Frankly, Why I love leaving San Fran. Frank, why why are you leaving San Francisco? Okay, why are you leaving San Francisco? Frank said it's too damn expensive. Yeah. Frank said I live in San Francisco and I have to agree with you. That's why I retired in Medellin, Colombia. Man, Frank, this dude knows what the hell he's talking about. So this is why a lot of us retirees and a lot of us older heads, man, end up moving to another country and then just being an expat somewhere else because it's just too the cost of living in the U.S. is going is it don't seem to have no off ramp. Like it just keeps going up, and you can't. It's hard to live middle class here on one income. So that's just the facts, man. Facts. Mark, why are you leaving New York though? Why did you wait? Who was that who left New York? Was that you that left from New York to New Jersey? Why did you leave to New York? Leave New York. Patrice says Daly City Vallejo Filipinas world. Yeah, I mean I'm staying in the U.S. but our plan is to make enough passive income, and I know I just keep repeating this. I'm gonna keep repeating it because it's important. Our plan is to make enough passive income streams here in the U.S. to where I don't have to go to the Philippines. I don't have to go to any other country. I can live comfortably here. That's my goal. And then my backup plan B, is Medellin, Colombia, Philippines, Thailand, Bali. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to make. I can live there right now. With what we've been doing. Mark said the reason he left New York was because I was paying $2,000 for one bed in New York City. Oh my God, that is a nightmare. Wow, I think that beats San Fran. Broly Khan, how you doing, man? That's my favorite blurred black nerd like myself. How you doing, man? He says, "What's up, Ghost? You did you get Ghost of Tsushima yet?" No, I don't believe I'm gonna get that game. I might. I don't know. I just don't have a lot of extra time lately. I would love to get back into gaming, but what I'm really waiting for is Cyberpunk 2077. That's what I'm really waiting for to play. I did see that game you're talking about, and it is does look very interesting because I love sci-fi. Oh, BrolyCon, I've been meaning to ask you, are you into figures at all? My buddy has really good. He makes figures and sells them. If you're interested, I could get you his contact information, or if anybody is into figures or comic books or anything like that. Jaron Maria, is that Jay Barnes? How you guys doing? Let me see. Serge A says, "Wow, you get a 4 to 5 bed in Paris with that price at Mark Anthony. Are you serious?" Oh my God. So wait, hold up. Do you guys hear this? Serge, who is from Europe, says that for $2,000 a month, you can get a 4 to 5 bedroom in Paris. Oh my God, I didn't know that. I thought Paris was just like New York, expensive. Yeah, I heard New York was crazy. That might be worse than I believe. No, no. Depending on where you are in San Francisco, it's about the same. 2,000 for like a studio bedroom apartment. Correct me if I'm wrong, Frank. Frank says expat life living, my man. Expat life living, my man. I'm in upper middle class in Colombia. Dope, 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 dope. Yeah, for sure, guys. I'm definitely that's definitely on my to-do list. Colombia. Let me see. Jay Barnes says 1,300 for a one bedroom in New Orleans. $700 savings. Yeah, yeah. South is pretty cheap, but because the prices were so much cheaper. But then I looked at there's a couple things that didn't sit right with me. Like it's 22%. The population is 22% black, but why are they voting like the some of the laws are against the interest of the people, seems like. Just something I noticed. That wasn't the reason we didn't. That wasn't the only reason. we didn't move there. But that was one of the things we were looking at. We were like, why is it? I don't understand like what's going on in the South. I don't understand why people are voting against their own interests there. But hey, that's the system we've inherited. Broly Khan said Ghost is worth getting. Yes, I'm into figures. Oh, okay, man. Maybe I'll advertise my man's stuff here, because he's got some real good figures. Real good. He's real big into it. I'm sure you'd salivate over the stuff he has. He's got some cool stuff. Maybe what I'll do is post it on this site at some point, but just for you, my man Broly Khan. Mark says, is the Ghost of Tsushima, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, on PC. Cyberpunk is going to be epic, man. I'm so hyped up about it. I think I'm gonna disappoint myself about it. I'm really hyped up. I've already pre-bought it. Like I've been watching every single video about it. Like I'm obsessed with that game. I haven't been obsessed with a game in a long time. I just like the cyberpunk genre. I really love what they did with The Witcher because it's by CD Projekt Red, right? And I like the way they do games. Their games are fun. It looks good. It just looks like something I'm gonna like, but we'll see. Jay Barnes says, Jaron Maria is Maria's account. Yeah, I figured that. Mark says, wow, Paris. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I'm paying $400 for one bed. Are you serious? Damn, it looks like I'm gonna have to visit Europe. I've been to Europe a couple times to work, but I was in Germany. I was in Stuttgart, Germany. Sir, is Stuttgart, Germany like an expensive part of town or something? Because I was in Stuttgart, Germany, man. It was expensive. That was 10 years ago. And it was crazy expensive. I mean, maybe it was like the dollar to euro rate or something, but it was like, damn, you can't live here. That was one of the things I was like, not. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I might have to check out some Paris, France, man. Take Yuri with me to Europe. I've been wanting to do that. Europe is beautiful. I really love it. It's one of those places that I really like to take my family to. Frank says yes. Security forces. Damn, brainwash. My old military days. SF meant security forces. SF. San Francisco is on par with New York with rent. Yeah. No doubt. Jaron Maria says, Bruce, please extend my regards to Yuri. Thanks. Thank you, Maria. Sure will. I'll do that. She'll be home soon. I'll remember that one. Rent is cheap in Germany. I mean, I guess, to be honest, when I was there, I was only there for like a week at a time. So, and then when I'm there, the company is paying for me to stay at these fancy hotels. So maybe maybe I'm a little jaded because of what I've seen. Then they put me in an area that's closer to the base or whatever. So maybe that had something to do with it. Frank says, I can't wait to get out of the Matrix, America. Actually, I love, my life here in America has been good. I'll put it to you that way. I mean, we have a long way to go. But my life here, I can't speak to, I know there's problems, I mean, you can't avoid it. It's unavoidable if you turn on the TV and stuff. I know that there's stuff in Colorado alone, there's stuff happening here as well. But my life here has been exceptionally good, and the level of stability I've been able to create here is unmatched. And so it's gonna take a lot for me to actually move out of here. And I don't see myself ever being an expat. I personally don't see myself doing it. I see myself like being a digital nomad and like moving around and stuff. But if I can find a better place and more convenient place, or a place where I can take my passive income streams and go to another and live even more comfortable, then I could see myself moving out of the U.S. But right now, like it's really, it's taking care of me and my family. Like I can't complain. All politics aside, I know there's issues and stuff, but my day-to-day life has been good in every administration. All, and I've done nothing but go up in every minute. It's because I think maybe it's because the stuff I do in my job, which is computers, it hasn't gone. It's just been going up, and because of that, I haven't been affected by like the fluctuations in job market. I've been affected by all the 2008 collapse, the stuff that's going on now. Like that stuff barely financially doesn't touch me. Berlin MVA says, "Hi, I used to watch you regularly, but I lost track. Did you reach your passive income goals?" Berlin, we actually reached a lot of them. It's crazy, man. We've been grinding for years, and some of it we've gotten to. We had a pretty lofty goals for some of it. Like we were trying to make like 5,000 a month in stocks. We kind of dropped the stocks thing and moved on to something else. But I can tell you, we have real estate property that's making us an income. We have courses online that are making us a pretty solid income. YouTube makes an okay little couple hundred here and there, but really advertises our other stuff. So all that other stuff is doing okay. I would say we're halfway there. We're halfway to where we could sustainably get out of the rat race kind of thing, where our passive income pays for all of our day-to-day living. We're close. We're about halfway there. So, and he says, by the way, Stuttgart is the most expensive in Germany. Okay, well, yeah, there you go. I was asking because I'd been to Germany several times to do work for the U.S. Army, DoD, DISA, stuff like that, and I think I trained there once or something. Yeah, I taught some IT stuff there once, and I was there for like a week, 1 week, a few days, stuff like that. But every time it's over in Stuttgart, and so every time I go there, I'm like, damn, why is this bagel so expensive? And so my view of Europe has been colored by Stuttgart, Germany, which is very, very expensive. Mark says, hey, Bruce and Yuri. Thanks, Bruce and Yuri, for opening up my mind to multiple streams of income in your past videos. Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. And we've learned from many other people. Many other people have contacted us and told us like what. Oh, you can come in here. It's facing me. So if you want water or something, you're good. Huh? Over here? Oh, okay. Why don't you just get that one? Oh. So yeah. Let me see. Where was I? Somebody said. Serge says, on the private market, one bedroom would cost you $800 to $1,000 here, but that's a lot more than before. Now most people cannot afford to live in Paris. Oh wow. So this same problem seems like it's everywhere. This giant like cost of living gap between middle class and rich, and middle class and rich, and middle class and poor seems like it's getting bigger all over the U.S., all over the world, not just the U.S. One of the problems and the tragedies of capitalism. Let me see. Serge says, anyway, with this zombie situation, they know it's a lot better to be out of the city. Zombie situation meaning the coronavirus, COVID-Z. Kyle Main says, I fled California in 2008 with 5,000 uh, in monthly blog income. Lived in Cebu, came back to the U.S. in 2018 for a good bank job. Loved both, but no place like home. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I love California. I miss the weather. I miss how you can grow almost anything there. I miss there's like a huge agricultural thing people don't really talk about. The people are very exceptionally beautiful there. Like it's weird. Uh, that said, I also had the full exposure to all the negative parts. I was super poor when I lived there. I grew up there in the '80s, like in the crack era. So some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So I know about the gangs and all that. But the good is there is awesome. It's just too expensive right now for me. I don't see how anybody lives. I don't see how my family lives there. Nothing. Mark says, Bruce, how do you lose 100,000 this year? Any advice you need to warn about? Okay, I can tell you a little bit about that. I really want to talk about it in a whole. It deserves its own video. But what happened was, uh, it's a bittersweet story. So if you look on my Instagram, you go to Yuri Bruce TV. It's Yuri Bruce Team on Instagram. You'll see back when I used to do Bitcoin. And so I made some really good buys in Bitcoin. To the point where I put a few $1,000s down and it grew to 100,000 damn dollars. And instead of cashing it out when I could have, I let it ride. I held, and it bottomed out. So what I'm saying, Mark, is that I could have sold it at the top, which is what I should have done, right? If I'd be in a whole different situation right now if I had sold it and then reinvested it. And I mean, really, what I could have done was sold it, had 70,000 cash, not even sold it all, like half of it, have $70,000 cash, because the highest it got to was $130,000. I could have sold half of it, kept 30, half of it there, had 70 grand, and then bought it when it fell again, because that's what smart people do. But I didn't do that. I just held it until it collapsed, and then I lost my job, and I was going to court back and forth with my ex, and I just lost all this money just from circumstances, and I had to pull out the rest, a good portion of what I had in cryptocurrency. So that's my story. It really deserves more information because a lot of stuff happened with that. I'm saying, and Frank says, I'm saying as a black man, I'm an American and I just don't like what I'm seeing here. It's very depressing. I never thought a guy like Trump would ever become POTUS. Yeah, I feel the same way, Frank. Like I really do feel the same way. Like I have believed in the U.S. I'm somebody who I'm not a escape from the Matrix guy. I'm getting the hell out of here guy. I'm not one of those people. I respect your opinion, like if that's how you believe, but I'm not one of those dudes. I like America. I like my freedom here. I like freedom of religion. I like freedom of to have guns. I like freedom to say what I want. I like the freedom of saying I hate Trump as an asshole. Like in China, you can get arrested for that. You know what I mean? But this recent turn of events has made me. It's brought a lot of things to life. It's brought a lot of ugly things to life that I had no idea were there. I didn't know that so many people. I might be. I'm naive. I did not know so many people were bigots in the U.S. And that's the only way I can say. Now I know that everybody who supports Trump is not a bigot. I know that, but a lot of them are. A lot of them like him because the messaging he uses, and that's the part that's like really like, damn, I don't know what to say. Like I am disappointed. Like it's not him. Like Trump, he's him. He's who he is. He's always been this way. But the people who vote for him, I have to question when he does and says certain things, and then they don't say anything against him. I don't really know how to take that. The whole Mexicans are rapists type thing, and some of them, I suppose, are good. And what he said about the Central Park Five after they got exonerated, what they said about George Floyd, what he said about uh, uh, Lewis recently, what he said about even like some of the soldiers, like stuff he says about soldiers, I think is not cool. Like what he said about John McCain, what he said about other fallen soldiers, like they just ignore that. I'm like, you just gonna ignore that? I'm really disappointed in the U.S. I'm disappointed. I don't really know like what's going on with that. Mark Sweeney says supporters are not bigots. Yeah, Mark, not all of them are, but when he says things, when he says and does certain things, and he's doing a lot of signaling, I don't know, as a black man, I don't really know what to say. You know what I mean? I don't know how. I don't even know. Like I know, like Trump is how he is, but the supporters don't check him. When I know for a fact that if Obama had said or done half the stuff that Trump does and says, they would be all over him. And why do I know that? It's because he did some things that they were going crazy about. So that's the thing that I can't, I don't know what to say about that. I have friends who are Trump supporters. I have friends who believe in what he says, and I don't know. Like I know people who support him. I don't talk to them daily. Otherwise, I I don't I don't know what they would say. What would they say about this? I mean, it's to the point where I can't talk to them about these things he's saying because it's so emotional. It's so triggering. We can't have an intelligent conversation about it anymore. That's how bad it's gotten. You know. Mark Sweeney says John McCain promised to replace and repeal Obamacare. That's what the promise. That's what he promised to the people of Arizona. Well, yeah, I don't agree with I don't agree with John McCain's um, political his policies. I didn't agree with his policies, foreign policy, his domestic policy. I didn't agree with almost anything he said. But John McCain uh, was a statesman. I never heard John McCain disrespect gold star families. I never seen him. He was a respectable human being. You know what I mean? Like I didn't agree with most or almost anything he said. I wasn't politically we weren't aligned, but he was I was could respect him as a person. You know what I mean? Like he was a respectable person. Yeah, of course he made mistakes. He said crazy stuff every now and then. You're not gonna hurt my feelings by saying a couple crazy things, but this is different, man. This is different. I don't. It's about the character of the person at this point, and I can't. I have no positive things to say about it. I can't say any positive things, and I know every time I talk about this whole situation, I lose subscribers, I lose views. I know it's not popular to talk about. I'm just telling you how I feel, and I hope that we can have a conversation about it. So I'm really glad you voiced your opinion, Mark Sweeney. I appreciate that, man, and I do want to talk to you about it. Like I'm open to, if somebody can convince me why he's a good, why he hasn't divided us. Like, if somebody can have a convincing argument of why he's a great president, maybe it'll convince me. But everything I'm seeing, I don't know. Like some of the stuff, his campaign posts. Berlin said, "Don't be afraid to speak your opinion." Frank says, "Yeah, 20 COVID-19 really opened my eyes. It's really unearthed a lot of things, man. You know, for all of us living through this, like as Americans, like we have a lot of things to fix. We have a lot of things to fix. And, I don't think capitalism was made for this. It's not doing a good job, man. It's not. Like we need alternatives. We need some fixes. We need something else. Like, because I'm at this point, I don't even care, man. If a good president who was happened to be Republican could come forward and give some and wasn't an insane maniac, I'd vote for that MF. I would vote for him, but I I don't have like good options right now. You know what I mean? I mean, there's one bad option and there's one worse option at this point. Mark Sweeney says, John McCain lied to the people of Arizona. It doesn't matter how good he makes you feel, flat out lied to the people of Arizona. Right. So what I'm referring to is his service in the military. Now you could there's an argument against him. Like you could say, okay, John McCain was the person who started the fire on the USS Forester. Like if you look that up, Google it. So you could say John McCain wasn't a war hero. John McCain, right? You could say all that kind of stuff, right? Because he fought in Vietnam. Vietnam bad. You could say all that, and you have an argument. But the thing is, the guy did something he believed in, and John McCain's not my friend. You know, I don't know the guy, but when I look at him being captured as a U.S. soldier, having been through combat zones, like I know what it takes to. There's a certain level of commitment you have to go that far, and he had it, and so I respect that. I respect his service. I respect Tammy Duckworth's service. I respect any service person who didn't run away from what they signed up for. I respect that. Even if you were in Vietnam, even if you were, whatever war you were in, I respect it. I don't believe that Trump did. He didn't respect his service. You don't have to like the person to respect their service. You know what I mean? Just like President Trump. I respect the office of the president, so I wouldn't disrespect him. If I went to the White House, I wouldn't disrespect the presidency of the United States. I wouldn't disrespect it. I probably wouldn't go because don't want to disrespect the office of the president of the United States. So him disrespecting John McCain and other Gold Star families is what I'm referring to. I don't agree I agree. John McCain did lie to people of Arizona. I'm sure he did. I'm not from Arizona. I don't know. But just my opinion. Mark says Trump is not providing us the media. Trump is not dividing us. The media is dividing us. I disagree with that. I disagree with that, and I would say that both are dividing us. I don't believe that it's just the media. I would agree that it is the media. Yeah. The media is dividing us based off of capitalism because they have to appease their base. I gotta plug this thing up. They have to appease their base. And what I mean by that is when Fox News to know they know who their audience is. Their audience is right leaning people, so they have to appease their base by providing certain shows that appease that base, right? That satisfies that audience's what kind of content they want. They know what their audience wants, so they provide it. Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, right? But they have news. They're a legitimate news organization. They have they report real news, but they have to appease their base. So their biggest shows are Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and then the reason why they appease them is because they get more views, which allows them to get more advertisers, which allows them to get more money. So I don't disagree with you. And the same thing with MSNBC, CNN, and all the other mainstream media out there. I agree, yes. But it's not necessarily them that's dividing us. It's we are dividing ourselves. Like, I don't like a person who's left wing probably is not going to listen or watch anything on Fox News, and a person who is right wing is probably not going to watch anything on MSNBC because everything is, it's all a hoax, it's all fake news, it's all this or that. But a rational person, a person who really wants to get down to the fact, is going to watch whatever he or she needs to get the facts. Am I right or wrong? That said, your Laura Ingrams, your Sean Hannitys, your Tucker Carlson, they definitely lean a certain direction. Am I right or wrong? And then on the other side, your Wolf Blitzers, your Anderson Coopers on CNN, your Rachel Maddow's, they lean a certain direction, so people are going to watch them to get that same kind of opinion that satiates their drive to hear what they want to hear, to get those views, to get the advertisers, to get the dollars. So are they dividing us? Yes and no. Is the president dividing us? Absolutely. Why do I say that? Listen to what he says. I mean, it's pretty odd. It's crazy that you and I can listen to him talk, and you can get a speech about bringing us together and loving each other and stuff and brotherly love or something, and I don't get that. Not at all. I get the opposite of that. Plug this thing up. Hey, I'm just finishing up this live. So yeah, we're just talking about how Trump is not dividing the U.S. By the way, nothing. Don't comment on that. Berlin says Trump took away soldiers from the danger zone and stopped American colonialism in the Middle East. Sure. Frank says, don't forget Trump is a draft dodger. Yeah, and the whole thing about him being a draft dodger, honestly, cool. He didn't want to go to Vietnam. We're now learning, Vietnam was a farce. It was a false flag farce, and a lot of people died for no damn reason, right? It was a betrayal of our U.S. soldiers. It's a real dirty game. Like, look into the facts about how it started, and you'll be disgusted. But what I don't like about what he says about Vietnam is there's one thing, like, own up to, don't try to be a tough guy. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to be. He tries to be a tough guy, and the fact is he dodged the draft. Don't try to be tough. Like, tell people why you didn't go. Say, I didn't want to get shot. I was afraid. Say that. Don't disrespect soldiers that fought there and stuff in the country that you're serving. Weird. Mark Sweeney says, wait, let me read some other comments first. John McCain lied. Kyle says, John McCain was an honorable man and a patriot. I just disagree with him on many policies. That's exactly how I feel. That summed it right up. It's like John Lewis. Like, you may not agree, or Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, you may not agree on everything they said or did, but, they were fighting for something they believed in a time where they were being treated like animals. I can respect their fight. I may not agree with everything MLK or John Lewis or any other people from the civil rights movement did or said, but like John McCain, like he fought for something he believed in. I don't know. It seems like principles are shifting somewhere. I don't know where they land. They're gonna land, but it's kind of weird. The same people who used to praise John McCain are now laughing at his grave. It's weird. It's just really strange. Um, Kenneth says at this time, it doesn't matter what side you vote for, but in the end, it's all the same game. After dealing with politicians, I now see that none of them are trustworthy. Kenneth Mills, man, that's the same. That's the sentiment that makes a lot of people not vote. And I can't sit here and say you're wrong. You know, when we have a two-party system that kind of are backed by the same forces that are controlling a lot of our legislative process at this point. And that's just unfortunate because there's so much money that controls our political system. It's really sad, man. Really sad. And I don't think that this situation has made it better. Mark says, in order for young men to lift themselves out of poverty, they need jobs, supply and demand. I need more jobs than workers. Um, John McCain was the son of an admiral. He pushed through flight school. He became a fighter pilot. He was immediately shot down and taken prisoner. While being prisoner, he signed a confession paper. The CIA used the confession paper to control John McCain. As as soon as the king died in the paper, as soon as the king died in the paper and tape recordings came out, the mismanagement of our country is why Donald Trump became president. We the people are tired of being mismanaged. You don't think we're being mismanaged right now? Mark Sweeney says capitalism has made the entire world a better place. We all live better as a result of free capitalism. Businessmen, their business jobs make more money. Congress' job is to protect we the people. There's a huge problem with Congress. It is for sale to the highest bidder. Fox News ratings skyrocketed. Sirius, CNN ratings are in the toilet. These sound like all the talking points from Donald Trump. I mean, it really sounds like you really got it down, Mark. I got to give it to you, man. Frank says, we have to get money out of politics, and we need another another party in our political system. The two-party system does not work. Is not working yet. I agree with that. In the end, Trump is not such a terrible capitalist. He was the one who signed another stimulus. He's the one who signed another stimulus now. He has a big mouth, but he does the right thing. I would say the one good thing that I like that he did is his stance against China. I don't agree with how he did it, where it hurt a lot of farmers and stuff, but I agree with his stance on China, and I think that was a good move, and I hope that it's kept up. I just don't know if it will be. Because China has just done a lot of shady stuff. Yeah, being in the IT industry, I've seen China do they steal a lot of intellectual property. So I agree with that, and I agree with him coming down on him. I just don't agree with how he's done it. He's got great ideas, but his implementation is so stupid. Is incredibly dumb. It just doesn't make sense, and it's along the party lines. Like a lot of the right wing alt right people, like everything that they have said over the years on Breitbart, on all the alt right media platforms, he's attempting to do all those things, and so a lot of the A lot of the conservatives love that because this is the stuff they've been wanting to do for years. Everything you're seeing right now is what they've been wanting to do for years. I mean, Mark, am I right or wrong? President Trump wants a strong military force and jobs brought back to our shores. Do you want a strong economy where we all prosper? So, Mark, I think a lot of politicians have it wrong. About jobs going overseas. A lot of jobs have gone overseas, but right now in 2020, in the 21st century, our biggest problem is automation. And there's only one candidate who actually talked about that, and that was Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang was the only candidate who actually talked about that. No other candidate talked about it. Not Bernie Sanders, not Elizabeth Warren, not Donald Trump, not Weld. No one else talked about it except one candidate, and that was Andrew Yang. And Andrew Yang was the only one addressing the income gap. Well, no, not the only one. Sanders was also addressing that. Those are some real issues. I mean, to sit here and say that, and Mark, thank you for that. Appreciate that, man. To sit here and say that it's the whole reason why our economy is collapsing is because the jobs are going overseas. I don't believe that's the case. Like, that's what's happening is our jobs are being automated. So people are not going to believe it until it actually starts happening. Like, what's going to happen is cars are become automated. I know this sounds like science fiction, but just look at some of the work that Google, Apple, and Tesla are doing on automated cars. Once they do that, that's going to take one of the biggest job markets, one of the biggest industries and biggest employers are going to be gone, which is truck drivers, Uber, transportation in general. And that's all because of automation. Another big one is going to be retail, things like Amazon. Once Amazon starts automating a lot of this stuff, there's going to be more jobs gone. And as far as there not being enough jobs, it depends on the industry. My industry in IT, we don't have enough people to do the jobs. What's happening now is we are doing 2 or 3 different jobs we're not supposed to be doing. In the last 10 organizations I've worked for, because I'm a contractor and I've been jumping around from place to place, right? Until recently I become an employee. But I've been a contractor going from place to place, and each place had this issue of like, we don't have enough people to do the work. And so you're having to wear 10 different hats. We don't have enough people to do the work. We have enough jobs. There's not enough people in the U.S. to do the work. For IT, I can't speak for any other industry. Juan 3 says, two-party system is a scam. WWF, politics, yeah. It's plastic. Yeah, it's sad. The political system Scott says, political system is corrupt on all sides. Doesn't matter who is in power. They want alleviate, change, or reduce the suffering. They won't alleviate or reduce the suffering of humanity. The only solution is what's outlined in the Bible. Berlin says, in Germany, socialism is pretty radical, and I want to tell you that it's not feeling great when they take so much taxes and giving it to bums who simply prefer to drink instead of work. Big Rob says, the truck driving jobs will be obsolete. Factories will be automated and will be done with. Berlin says, automation is really fine. It cuts out dumb jobs, people who have more challenging creative jobs. we spend more on our military than other than other countries combined by far. It's ridiculous. Why? Because our military industrial complex. Yeah. A lot of good points, guys. A lot of good points. Mark says in 2006 I made $25 an hour. My rent was $1,000 a month, and now I make $16 an hour, and rents are have doubled. Not enough pay. People who do not provide goods and services are getting filthy rich, and Mexicans are sending their profits overseas. Um, yeah, I would say like one of the biggest problems that in the U.S. that are not being talked about enough, I don't think, is the income equality gap. The income gap, I should say, the income gap, and because of that, what's happening is it's getting harder and harder to live in the U.S. on one income. I don't know anybody who lives here on one income, like who are not struggling, like struggling poor. Uh, I can't think of a single person who has one income who's not struggling poor right now. I can't even think of not even one off the top of my head. Everybody I know has multiple incomes. Either both people in the house work, or they have one person works and then they have a business, or one person works, they have a business, they have drive Uber part time, or they have a pension, or they have a disability, and they have a job, and they have, you know. So yeah, I have to agree. Like, there's something. How do you handle that in capitalism? Like, I don't have a solution for it, because obviously capitalism has features that work, but it also has some cons. It has pros and cons. Like, I'm not saying we should do away with it. I'm just saying we need something. It doesn't fix everything. It doesn't. It's not a cure-all. It's not a panacea. We need something else to supplement it, because it's just not working entirely. And Berlin, like, I hear you, man. And Serge, like, I hear you guys. Like, yeah, it sounds good in Europe, but you may be looking here and saying, damn, they have $1 trillion, multi 115 trillion dollar industry. They don't pay as much taxes as us and stuff like that. But we also don't have medical here. Like, it's a problem where a lot of Americans are going bankrupt. Are going bankrupt. So, because they can't pay for things like chemotherapy, or they can't pay for, you broke your leg and now you're spending you got a $20,000 bill from from Blue Cross Blue Shield or something. Mark Sweeney says automation is a lie told to you by media. No, nope, that's not true, Mark, because I'm in an industry that's a large portion of it is being automated. In IT, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of tools that are becoming more and more automated, and the more automation we have, the more things we can actually do. And so what's happening is some of the corporations, they say, well, we got this new tool. You can use this to do this job, and you can use this tool here to do this other job. We don't need another person. You can do these two jobs because you now have automation in these two areas, right? That's one of the things that happens in IT. And like I said, if you look at just hear me out. Forget MSM, forget media, forget all that. Do your own research and try to cut out all of the middleman, all the middle activity. Do your own research on automation in the transportation industry. Just look into it. Just look into it, and you'll see what I mean. Automation has taken a lot of jobs in the last 10 years. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Don't forget about media. Do your own research, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see that automation in the last 10 years has taken more jobs than have gone overseas. And if I'm wrong, send me an article. I'm open to facts. Mark says truck driving jobs aren't going anywhere. Factory jobs are not going anywhere. Those robotic machines cost millions. Okay, yeah, Mark, like I said, hear me out, man. Hear me out. Mark Sweeney, what I want you to do, man, is just do your own research on automation and how many jobs it's taken. I think it'll change your mind. It's not being talked about. It's just not. And only one candidate actually brought it up, which is scary. It's scary. It's scary when I'm seeing Congress bring in Facebook, bringing in Apple, and bringing in Amazon and Google, and they're not asking good questions. they're not. There are really problems with these companies, and they're not asking. They don't know enough. They don't understand. It's because they're a lot of them are baby boomers, and they don't. They were born after the internet got big. They don't understand technology. Um, and won't take the time to actually learn it. Frank says, I was talking to my brother, and he said people have to remember all empires fall, and all empires fall, and who's to say it's not America's turn right now? History teaches us nothing. Al says, Serge says, AI is not a new thing. Being used in the first few applications been used in applications for years. It's hard to say, but don't be fooled. There's always a next toy to play with. I agree with Bruce. AI and automation is going to destroy the job market. The bottom line is it's all the big corporations care about. Mark Sweeney says, back in 2006, my medical insurance was $20 a week. Oh boy, I know where this one's going. And it's not okay. It was $20 a week. So are many companies competing with business. Obamacare, my insurance is now $200 a month, and he ran all of those other companies out of business. Hospitals have always provided emergency care regardless of insurance. So Mark, have you thought about this? Whenever a hospital, since you're a health or whatever, they take on somebody broke their arm, right? They got in a wreck, they broke their arm, and they have to be taken to the emergency room. They got no insurance. The hospital, in a lot of cases, won't turn them away. They'll still take them anyway, and they'll treat them. Somebody still has to pay for the medicine they use, the doctor's services, the nurses who took him in, the nurses who set the guy's bone. All that stuff is still paid for. But guess who pays for it? Guess who pays for that? And that happens, and now that is times a few 100,000, because that's happening all over the United States. Get Lost Vlogs, how you doing? What's up, Bruce? He says, just got on my lunch break. Oh, we're just talking about politics, man. open discussions. They're trying to convince me that Trump is good, and I'm trying to convince them that Trump is bad. That's what we're talking about. But we're having a very sane conversation about it. Right, Mark? Real sane. He's bringing up some good points. Let me see. Berlin says there's a lot of Trump supporters here. I'm surprised. Berlin says, we simply live in a dynamic time. Jobs are being destroyed, but new ones are being created. Who wants to do the same job for 20 years anyway, or 40 years anyway? Mark Sweeney says, it doesn't provide food. Okay, I think maybe it doesn't provide food or shelter. It's a great business, but it's not essential. It's a luxury. I wouldn't say the hospital was a luxury. I have to disagree with you on that one. Mark says, I'm not a Trump supporter. No, there's two Marks here, man. There's a Mark Sweeney and there's a Mark Anthony. There's more than one Mark here. Frank Ellis says, universal health care, single payer, I'm all in. We're the only nation without it. We're the only developed nation without it. Jen T3, how you doing? Says, hi Bruce. You cannot convince a cult that they're in a cult. I can't. The only thing that I could say that I actually liked about this presidency has been his stance on China. That's it. Everything else, and I don't even like how he did it. I don't like it was completely stupid how he did it. Had no plan, no strategy, no nothing. But his attitude towards them, I like, because I'm not a fan of the Chinese government. But other than that, like, else has no plan. He seems like he just does things on a whim based off of what he can get. Get Lost Vlog says Kung Flu. Yeah, I don't agree with him saying all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't think that that's necessary. You know, he has a case. God, such a waste. He doesn't have to say Kung Flu. He doesn't have to say Chinese virus. He doesn't have to go there. He doesn't have to. But he does it because it appeases the base. I mean, he's got me. Like, if he starts saying, like, breaking down facts of what's been happening with China and how they try to hide the virus in the first few months, that's all facts. That's all he has to say, how they've stolen billions of dollars in intellectual property over the years, how they change the laws, how they manipulate their money, how they plan these shell games with all these companies. All of that is facts. Like, you can just use all those facts and build a great case and just keep on repeating it over and over again. And you'll guaranteed to bring many of the liberals, conservatives, centrists, moderates all in there. Nobody's going to disagree with or very few people are going to disagree with your facts. But when you start saying, oh, Kung Flu, and saying stuff you don't really need to, none of that's necessary. It's just not. All it does is give the other side a way to attack all of your arguments. That's all he's doing. He invalidates his own argument by saying things like that. You know what I mean? It's so counterproductive. It's so counterproductive to do things, to say stuff like that. Kyle Main says China is also conducting a genocide. Yeah. Yet Trump is the first administration to stand up to him. I give him props for that. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely. But he only started attacking it after things fell through with China. You know what I mean? Like, he was willing to ignore all of that before things fell through. He was trying to make deals with them, and he was trying to, like, he met them, and they were like doing military parade for him. I guess people forgot all about that when he was trying to be their buddy. The only reason now he's going against them so hard is because he can't get a deal with, and there's the coronavirus, and he can now, shift all of that blame to them. China is conducting a genocide. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, now that he's finally coming forward and saying what he's doing with the Uyghurs is wrong, that's great, but he should have said that in the beginning, like some candidates did, by the way. Kyle Main says, true. Like every other country turning a blind eye, exactly. to China due to money and trade relations. Absolutely, that's what's happening, man. And I hate to say it, but even that was happening during the Obama administration. You know, what did they say about it? Not a damn thing. So I mean, I don't know. They might have mentioned it a couple times. Frank Ellis says, you know who really baffles the hell out of me, Bruce, is black Republicans who specifically Trump supporters and specifically Trump supporters. I just don't understand these people. Mark Sweeney says, Two Guns says, I'm a black Republican. Can you explain this to me, Mr. Two Guns? Can you explain somebody just, okay. I'm, yes. What is the thought process? Like, don't bring up left, don't, like everything that I've noticed, like you guys' argument is always about attacking the left. Hillary Clinton, Obama. Right. Hillary is not in the picture. Okay. Obama cannot run again. All right. So can you help me to understand how I can also become a Trump supporter? Like, please give me a case on what can what kind of convincing argument can you use on somebody who's a center left Democrat? Like, what can you say to that person without saying, oh, well, I can't talk to them. They're deranged. They're crazy. They hate the U.S. No, listen, I don't hate the U.S. I love the U.S. I love everything that U.S. can be, but the U.S. has problems. We can fix it together if we come together. Otherwise, it ain't gonna work. So I just want to know, like, what's the thought process? What is one thing you can tell me? The one main thing that you can tell me that this dude is gonna do in 4 more years. He loves your country, bro. Okay. He loves your country, dude. I mean, I would argue that all the candidates love the country. Frank says you can't. Kyle says, I'm a conservative generally, but not a Republican. See that that I understand. I do not believe in robust social safety nets. Okay, so there's an argument. There's a rational argument right there. Boom. I can understand that. So I can understand a person who's like, the reason I'm not a Democrat is because Democrats and Republicans want to make the government way bigger, but I'm a conservative because I'm pro-life and I'm religious and I'm pro-guns and I'm this and that. But I don't like big government, so I'm against the Democrats for this reason. That right there, I can understand that argument. But that's not a reason for me to vote for Trump. Okay, here we go. The policies that they push are more for me. Democratic policies goes against my way of life. Boom. There you go. Could you, Two Guns, what specific, give me 2 policies that you are for that Trump is going to help you to retain. And Mark Sweeney says Trump operates on instinct, and that's why he's so successful. I would say his instincts lie in self-preservation. I would say he is brilliant at self-preservation because he's done it his entire life. And I would say I would agree with you on his instincts being good for self-preservation purposes, but I don't agree with some of the stuff he does is just like very erratic and don't make no sense. Like it has no strategy, it has no long-term. He contradicts his own party. Like he'll have, like the whole COVID thing. He posted this doctor saying something about hydroxychloroquine working, and then she also said something about women having. Uh, it's so ridiculous. I don't even want to repeat it. But she was saying a lot of things that were these conspiracy type stuff, right? She also said all that stuff. So he promoted her and said she's saying some great things and she's interesting and stuff like that. Thing is, she promoted him. She is a Trump supporter, and that's why he posted her. But then at the same time, his own administration is saying the opposite of what this lady is saying. It's confusing. That's not what a leader does. So Berlin says Trump is a strong leader. He can really fight China without a war. Um, okay, that's a reason. Two Gun says usually Republicans do not do a lot of deals that expand the energy market for the U.S. I've worked a lot. I've worked in the oil fields and for quite some time. But usually, when Democrats are in control, the policies go. Oh, okay, you're in the energy section, and Republicans want to expand oil and coal and things like that. So that's why you're all in for that. But do you realize that industry is going away? Or are you of the mind that it's here forever? Do you realize that industry is being replaced with solar and wind? Or I've heard the argument it's never going away. We're going to have it for 2,000 years. You're not going nowhere without oil and coal. More towards energy conservation, but it usually affects my job. I can understand that. That actually makes sense to me. So if you were to vote for anyone other than Trump, it would be against your interests, is what you're saying. Frank Ellis says, successful, give me a break. 6 bankruptcies is not a success story. Have you guys seen there's a documentary, and it's neither, I would not say it's negative or positive for or against Trump, but it's something that's very mindful. Check out, it's on Netflix, and it's about, I believe it's called The Trumps. And it talks about how the Trump family came to be. And I don't know if you knew this, but apparently Trump's Trump's grandfather is an immigrant, right? He came over here as a poor barber, and he started buying properties up, and he became rich and wealthy. Then he had his first son, Frank Trump, Trump's dad, and Frank Trump and his mom, and I think two other kids, they all became relatively successful, But that's a very interesting history. It does not neither for nor against Trump, but it kind of gets into the mindset of where that family, what they do as far as their industry, because their main industry is in property. Really good stuff. Mark Sweeney says they outsource every job they can to China. Serious, but to China, the job they can't outsource, they allow the tidal wave of both legal and illegal immigrants. But more people than jobs, wages go down. I have to disagree. I think that a lot of many manufacturing jobs went overseas, 80s, 90s, but that's mainly because corporate greed. Like if they can pay a person 10 cents an hour in China, why are they going to pay a guy $15 an hour here? You know what I mean? So a lot of the jobs went overseas. and that was mainly 80s and 90s. Recently, in the last 20 years, what's been happening is automation has been taking a lot of jobs, and it's on track to take many more jobs. Automation. And what I mean is like I'm not saying like robots are going to take 100% of all jobs. What I mean is, here's a good example. Go to Walmart. If you don't believe me, first off, do your own research. But go to Walmart and see how many self checkouts there are. Have you noticed? Have you noticed that there's more self checkouts? Those are jobs. Have you noticed? And I don't know if you have it there, but in Walmart, they now have a robot that goes from aisle to aisle. Then it can scan each aisle. As it's scanning, all of the produce, and not produce, but mostly cans and like those kind of consumables that are in boxes and stuff like that. It can scan it, and it sends that back to a database, and then they know what's in the inventory, and then they know what to bring out. Have you seen that robot? That's what I'm talking about. It's not eliminating 100% of jobs. It's eliminating automation is taking out a lot of jobs, not 100% of them. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by automation. Um, Here are some candidates for U.S. president. Ben Shapiro, are you out of your mind? No. That religious nut job? No, absolutely not. Peter Schiff, smart guy. Smart guy. Don't agree with everything he says. Definitely a smart guy. Wallace Life, how you doing? And Oprah, no. No more celebrities, man. No more celebrities. Absolutely not. I'm not voting for no more celebrities. Frank says, people really need to read Mary Trump's book. It's an eye opener. Just read it, people. I read like 3 or 4 different of those books, and it's just the same story over and over again. So I've been reluctant to even check out Mary Trump's book. Hey, are you ready to go?
Are you ready to go? How long have you been?
I'm about to get off.
Where you going?
I'm about to go to the store.
Um,
All right, I'm gonna give Mark Sweeney the last word. He says, "Supply and demand bring jobs back. America has everything he needs to take care of itself. We don't need imports. We can take care of ourselves, and we can prosper." And then he says, Trump grew up on a construction site. He learned how to use a backhoe when he was 10, and he identified with the working man. I completely disagree with that. I mean, he may have grown up on a construction site. Yes, I mean he may know how to do a backhoe, but his dad did a lot for him. Is all I'm saying. All right, well, man, Mark Sweeney, thank you, man. Thanks for speaking up. I appreciate that. It gives me some insight into what's going through, why there are Trump supporters, because I don't understand like some of the things that are said and done. I don't see how anyone can stand behind those things. But you had the guts to speak out, speak your mind, so I appreciate that. It gives me some things to think about. A couple people have some really good things for me to consider. It actually makes sense. Two Guns saying that he's voting against his interest if he votes for anybody other than Trump. Yeah, I appreciate all those thoughts. We can agree to disagree. That's one of the things the military taught me, is that if we all have a mission, we all have the same end goal of success, then we can all be professionals about what we're trying to do. We can all find an intersection to work together peacefully. Ultimately, we all just want to be left alone, be happy, live your life and stuff like that. And that's something we can kind of agree on. So we'll see in November how all this goes. And appreciate everybody. Thank you, Mark Sweeney, for that $20. Appreciate everyone. Stay safe out there. I don't know if if you guys all believe that there's a coronavirus. But just stay safe out there, you know. And I guess that's it for this one. Thanks everybody, and I'll talk to you guys next week.